Decktech for another Broodscale variant. I'm still looking for my next deck to play at real tournaments. So we're trying Gruul Broodscale. This list recently won a challenge, so we're just rolling with it. And the only real fancy thing about it, I guess, is the one-off Ugin Eye of the Storm in the main deck. And also the heroic interventions in the sideboard are something I don't often see. And they should be good cards. So let's go through the list. The list has the usual for Eldrazi Temple. We do have the Growth of the Burn Willows. We do have 2 Cavern of Souls, 4 Ancient Stirrings, 4 Blades, our targets for Ulthar Saga, a Haywire Mate, a Sogard Lantern, a Springleaf Drum, a Vexing Bauble, our usual 2-drops with Broodscale and Malevolent Rumble, the usual 3-drop with Glaring Flashraker, and our Eldrazi good stuff, Payoff Shenanigans. We do have Kozilek's Command as a payoff for infinite mana and just the best Eldrazi card in the format, and some board wipes with Firespot and Pyroclasm against go-wild strategies, most notably probably just energy. Heroic Intervention to stop our opponent from wiping our board, probably just against stuff like Wrath of the Skies, Veil of Summer against discarded counters, Nature's Claim against various opposing hate pieces or just affinity stuff, or the Mirror to get rid of the Saga's instincts. Additional Saga targets with Pissing Needle Grafdigger's Cage, 2 flexible anti-hate pieces with Waitscape Shadowmage, and 2 Damping Spheres against Amulet and Storm. So let's just head into the game. But before heading into the games, quick small announcement. Last week you've probably already noticed this. It was less videos than usual. There will be less videos again for the next couple of weeks most likely. Because last week I'm best man for my friend's wedding this weekend, and last weekend we had the bachelor party. Had to organize some stuff there. I'll be there this week. We have the wedding. The week after there is another wedding from some friends, and the week after there's even another wedding. So I'll be gone for a decent bit. Have to do nice things, fortunately enough. That's also why I lost a lot of my hair, like more than half my hair is gone, because I have to look neat for photos and stuff. So hope this look comes off well. No, but I hope you understand that there will be less videos, but that also means there's more time for you to leave comments and leave deck suggestions. Also, Edge of Eternities will release in just a few days, weeks, stuff. Don't really know when I'll upload this. So there's also new cards. If there's any decks you're interested in seeing with the new Edge of Eternity cards, let me know, because so far I am really underwhelmed by the set if it comes to modern. Sweet cards for Commander, definitely interesting for Standard, but also mostly just because there's standard rotation happening. But maybe there is a Standard deck that's pretty interesting that I want to play. But if there are modern decks that you think are actually impacted by Edge of Eternities, leave a comment, let me know, and we'll get to it. Now, no further ado, let's head into the league. Round 1! What Broodscale variant is better? We're testing Gruul today. This hand looks decent. We don't have a blade, but we have a decent setup to be linear, and Kozilek's Command also is decent at interacting, and our opponent is playing a Gilded Goose, so it might be Igra again. We draw an basic forest. I think we just ran out the temple, pass the turn, so next turn we can play our Kozilek's Command, or maybe our Flashraker, and it is Abzan, so probably Samwise. There's an apprentice, yep. Some combo, no fancy Igra shenanigans. I'm just jaded from the last league we played. There is an Ancient Stirrings. Do I run out something, or do I just have to keep up the Kozilek's Command in case our opponent does something? Could also play the Flashraker, try to be greedy and hope our opponent doesn't combo us next turn. So don't hate that, because Flashraker next turn would mean we have a lot going on. I think it's better to just stay safe. Run out the cavern, pass the turn. So now we have Kozilek's Command. Get rid of a cat in the graveyard. To set up a bit more with some science, or to just draw a card. There's a Carrion Feeder, that's the 1-drop we want to get rid of. And there's a Samwise, that's also something threatening. Do they also have the cat? Doesn't look like it. Just take the hit. And now we'll just get rid of the Carrion Feeder and create a spawn. Let's get rid of the feeder. They sacrifice the feeder to itself, so the apprentice gets the trigger, that's fine. And we have our spawn. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. I'm just going with the setup turn. They're down to 2 cards in hand, and they have to find a sacrifice outlet and need the cat, which they maybe didn't have before. So we'll just play the Broodscale. So next turn we probably can find something with the Stirrings and Malevolent Rumbles to start comboing them. And if they both have another sacrifice outlet and a cat, then that's that. But Don't really think that's likely to happen with only 2 cards left. There's a familiar. Is there also another sacrifice outlet? Doesn't look like it. Oh, let's find something good. Those are more Broodscales. Guess we'll take one. Let's just keep digging with the stirrings. And we find a blade. Now we go infinite. And it's probably game. Yep, on to sideboarding. Sideboarding against some combo. We'll get rid of 1 ancient stirrings because loads of cards we bring in are colored. Take out the Vexing Bauble for the Grafdigger's Cage as a way better target for our Saga. And I'm also shaving 1 Chrysalis and 1 Ugin because I think this one of Ugin is probably just too cute with the list. Maybe it's good, but I think we have better things to do than trying to get to 7 mana here. And we're obviously just bringing in our board wipes. So let's take those out and let's run it back. Game number 2, our hand looks great, let's keep it. 2 Eldrazi Temple with 2 Kozilek's Command, can't go wrong with that. We don't have green mana for our Malevolent Rumble, but I don't really think that will hurt us too much. We'll probably just find something off of our Kozilek's Command, so let's run out the temples and let's just remove our opponent's stuff and use the most busted Modern Horizon 3 card that's still legal in the format. Opponent fetches 4 Overgrown Tombs, runs out a Cauldron Familiar. Is there also a sacrifice outlet behind that, or can we just exile that with our Kozilek's Command? There's also a sacrifice outlet. Okay. Second Eldrazi Temple. And let's just pass a turn. Second sacrifice outlet. Ui, ui, ui. Also some. A Damping Sphere. Okay, so I want to make mana right now. Let's just get rid of the Viscera first. And we can still get rid of the Carrion Feeder afterwards. Usually Damping Sphere doesn't really do too much against our deck because we only have the Eldrazi Temple that taps for more mana. But against this hand, where our first 2 lands are the Eldrazi Temple, it's actually pretty okay. Just take the damage. Also, we get rid of the Viscera here because the card filtering looks more dangerous to me right now than the +1/+1 counter. Don't really care too much about those. And now we just... we'll just pass a turn, I think. Keep up our Kozilek's Command to get rid of the feeder. Could have played the blade, but don't really think there's a need to. Just want to cast the Kozilek's Command as big as possible. Sacrificing those 2 tokens just for the swag points. And the sacrifice a feeder. Now I think they are through all of their sacrifice outlets, so I don't really think we have to worry about them comboing at all now. As far as I'm concerned, they only have the Seer and the Carrion Feeder as a sacrifice outlet for the combo. Don't know if they have a way of getting them back. There's a Green Suns for 2, so they can grab Sam. Yep, but that's all that happens right here. Sweet. We also find a green source, so we could cast the Fire Spout. I think I kind of like that, even though we have to use our spawns right here. Just float the mana, cast the Fire Spout. We can still play the Flashbreaker afterwards through the Damping Sphere, so we're set up for next turn. Now it's looking pretty rough for our opponent. Second Samwise, we don't really care about that. And there is nothing else because the Damping Sphere shuts them off as well. Just float a mana right here. Don't really think there's a need to make constructs. We also just draw the Hailweimer to get rid of the Damping Sphere if we need to. I think I want to grab the Springleaf Drum to have additional colored mana so we can run out the Chrysalis right here. Chrysalis together with a Flashbreaker, also just an incredible combo. So much ping damage. Absolutely crazy. We also just make so much mana off of those spawns in the future. Play the blade, and our Chrysalis is just an insane must deal with threat now. I think I'll also equip the Flashbreaker right here, because our Chrysalis is just big enough as it is, and we can just sacrifice our spawns to also protect our Flashbreaker from stuff, I guess. Even though realistically speaking, all the removal is just Dismember and maybe Fatal Push, so we don't have enough spawns to actually protect it. Still like having my threats diversified like this. And the Chrysalis is just the biggest thing either way. They sacrifice their peatland, so they don't really have an out, and we'll just be able to beat them to death in the next turn with our both big things. There's a Lone Familiar. They don't have a sacrifice outlet. They're not able to do anything with it. They can grab a second Familiar back with the food, so they do have blockers right here. But that's just not enough. Ooh, and a Dryad Arbor to make even more food tokens. That's kinda sweet. Command probably just shuts it off immediately though. I will just go ahead and draw as many cards as I can with it and sacrifice the spawns to just make as many spawns as possible. I think we are able to just machine gun them down with a flash wrecker right here. Just get rid of all of those because I want something colorless I can cast. There's a second flash wrecker and that should be able to seal the deal. Run out the second flash wrecker. We are missing a single mana to run out the second Haywire to actually go for the kill, which is kind of unfortunate. Because they just have to jump away right here. Which doesn't really matter too much for them because they do have the food tokens that they can just use with the familiars. Yep, there comes back the first one. But as I already said, I don't think they have a way of accessing another sacrifice outlet. So I don't really worry too much right here. Flash Wrecker grows some more. And next turn we're just able to ping them down without having to worry about blockers. Right, attacking was actually stupid right here because it makes them get the familiars in the graveyard so they were able to recurse them some more. It was actually somewhat stupid. Should have just stayed back so they don't even get to do that. It was too drained that they shouldn't have gotten. Not like it really matters. I think either they do have access to another sacrifice outlet and we die, or they don't and we win next turn either way. It was still a misplay. What do you find off of your Birthing Ritual opponent? They just find a goose for more food and to sacrifice a familiar for another cycle. That's okay. We even draw an Emrakul. Run out a Haywire Might. Trigger, 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 trigger. Also spawn token. Both flash rakers deal more damage. Another spawn token. Both flash rakers deal more damage. Blade of the Bloodsheaf grows some more. Rising Chrysalis grows some more. Haywire Might enters. Both flash rakers trigger again, deal even more damage. And I will also just sacrifice the Haywire Might to get rid of the Damping Sphere because I want to cast more spells. And we'll finish them off with a big Emrakul. I can still recur one of the Cauldron Familiars, but all those Flash Wrecker triggers will still be enough to kill them, and then we have the Emrakul on top of that. So they scoop it up. Nice. On to the next one. Match number 2. This hand also looks okay. Nothing spectacular, but we do have loads of ways to dig and a Kozilek's Command. I will keep it, just because Kozilek's Command is an absolutely messed up card. I do kind of hope it carries us through this game. Opponent starts with a Raucous Theater, so I expect it to be something like Hollow One, probably? Should mean Kozilek's Command would probably be pretty good. Hollow One is at least the first deck that comes to my mind when I see a Raucous Theater. I think I'll just lead with a Grove into an Ancient Stirrings and try to look for something decent. The Drowsy Temple looks pretty good, so our Kozilek's Command is active immediately. Chrysalis is also decent against them, but I think I just want the immediate impact of the Drowsy Temple. One place Polluted Delta. Grixis, so it's probably Grixis Shadow with Cecil, I'd assume. There's a Psychic Frog. Don't yet have enough mana to get rid of that. That's our command. We draw a Flash Raker. I do kind of like that. Let's just run out the Flash Raker. That kind of makes our opponent have to answer it next turn. And if they don't, we're in absolute business. Could have also gone for more setup by playing either the Rumble or the Stirrings and maybe also the Haywire Might afterwards. Do I offer the trade so our opponent discard the card? I don't think I do, because I do still have to use a card to get rid of the Flash Rake, and if I don't have a removal for it, that's fine. They Sword Seizers. Luckily enough, our hand is mostly just cantrips, and they get rid of the Kozilek's Command, so we don't get rid of the Frog. That's reasonable, and there is a Tamio. We do untap with our Flash Raker, and we draw Walking Ballista. Also interesting. We dig for something first with our Stirrings. Yeah, let's just look for something. We find a Broodscale. That's a good one. It's at least one half of our combo. We run out the Broodscale, do some damage, have the Broodscale in place. Let's also run out the Haywire Might because it just replaces the spawn token. And then we pass it back. They just attack like that without giving the Psychic Frog flying, so we just jump away with a spawn. There's a Faceless Looting. That's not what I would have expected, but it is a really good card. Kind of wondering what the 75 of our opponent might be, especially with the looting in the mix. Does it make it kind of look like some sort of Reanimator variant? Yeah, there's a Persist. They're probably... Are they going big and trying to persist Archon, or are they just trying to persist something like Oculus? I think I would expect them to persist Oculus more than actual Archon. And a second Fatal Push. That's rough. They reset us back to the Stone Ages. Good thing we do have the Saga. Just go for a Rumble. Now, Ugin looks pretty sick right here. We are still a decent bit away of casting that, so probably it's a Chrysalis. We're not that far off of casting Ugin. Ugin would go pretty hard right here. I think I'm going with Ugin, trying to get just to hit another land, basically. Also run out the Ballista. Fortunately, nothing to attack right here. But we only need to draw one more mana source to be able to cast Ugin in 2 turns, and he should be able to help us come back really well. The 10 Indulgence, are they actually going big and trying to reanimate Archon? Also with them discarding a Persist before, I expect them to have them. They have Harvester of Misery as a reanimation target. That's crazy. I expect them to have another Persist, because why would the Reanimator deck otherwise get rid of one? And they pump their Psychic Frog, so they're just missing a land drop probably. Harvester would be great right here, because it would get rid of our spawn token. Getting rid of the spawn token means that our Ugin would come down a turn later, which I would absolutely despise. That's good to know. That means that the Chrysalis would have probably just been better. I mean, realistically speaking, it probably would have just been better in the vacuum either way, because it's also just a really good blocker against the Psychic Frog. And we could have just slammed it this turn. And next turn, they would also Grave Titan. They are just going big. What? And they do have a land. Do they bring back the Harvester or the Grave Titan? They bring back the Harvester. We ping the Psychic Frog and hope that they don't give it another counter, but they do by discarding another Harvester. Ooh, we draw an Urza's Saga. That's great. That's really good. I think I'll just get rid of the Psychic Frog and make some token immediately, because this way we dodge a potential counterspell. It is worth if they draw another reanimation spell and they're able to reanimate a second Harvester. But if they don't, we play around the counterspells and we're just able to play Ugin next turn. They do have... Oh no, they do have the reanimation spell with the Tami. What am I doing? And they also get rid of the Ugin. Do we think there is a way for us to come back right here? That was totally my fault. I forgot they had the Tamio that can also pick back up a Persist. Should have just waited. Should have just gotten rid of what they have in the graveyard. They do actually let me go for the block right here. I will preserve my life total, because like, why the hell not? They just uptick Tamio. Make a construct. Blade. Had I not jumped with the spawns right here, though there are so many misplays happening right now. Had I not jumped with the spawns, I would have been able to pressure Tamio below being able to ultimate. Yeah, those were just too many misplays. I don't really think we have to play through the Tamio ult. Those were just loads of misplays, but we are still learning right here. So let's sideboard. So I think we're just cutting the Vexing Bauble for obvious reasons. Didn't look like they have any free spells. Also shaving a Malevolent Rumble and a Walking Ballista. And we're bringing in a Grafdigger's Cage against Reanimation, a Veil of Summer against the discard, and also a Pithing Needle, because if we don't shut off the Psychic Frog, we can also shut off the Tamio, and makes lots of this threat a lot less threatening. And I don't really know if I want to bring in Dismember against the Psychic Frog deck, because I can still protect it, and the bigger reanimation targets do dodge this. So let's do it like this and go to game 2. Now we're on the play. Pretty much hoping we don't misplay as bad as we just did. This hand looks like a keep, especially with the Veil of Summer being able to protect us turn 1. And the turn after we can just go for the Grafdigger's Cage with still the Veil Protection. I think I want to keep Veil Protection for as long as possible. There's a Swamp, there's a Swordseize. There's the Veil. Drawing a second Boseiju does kind of suck, but it is what it is. Live and die by the legendary channel lands. Could run out the Broodscale, but I think I'll go with the Stirrings into a Grafdigger's Cage. Trying to find more lands. And I think I'll go with the Urza's Saga. Could grab the Blade as an immediate combo with the Broodscale. We're not able to really create as much mana, and the Urza's Saga will find us the Blade eventually, and also means that we're able to cast the Chrysalis. Being able to both secure us a land drop and find us a combo piece sounds pretty nice. And runs out of Polluted Delta, probably just a Psychic Frog right here. Yep, second Saga, that's also pretty neat. Let's just lead with the Broodscale. We're exposing it to removal right here, but it is what it is. Next turn we can run out the Chrysalis. We'll just take the hit by the Psychic Frog, because our Grafdigger's Cage does shut off the reanimation shenanigans, so this frog does get a lot less dangerous. It's still drawing them cards, it's still drawing them interaction, but we can work through that. And Swordseize right here is kind of annoying because it gets rid of our Chrysalis. But we still just have the second Saga and we're able to overwhelm our opponent eventually with all this value, I hope. Fetch shocks for Blood Crypt. Removal for Broodscale. Second Psychic Frog, so they are living life on the edge. Opponent has a stop in our upkeep for some reason. We draw an Emrakul. That's not what we want to see, but I guess we take it. It will be good eventually. For now, just play the Saga. I'm gonna stand back and keep up the possibility of creating constructs. Unless our opponent starts discarding things, they're also only able to make one Psychic Frog fly. Let's make a construct and let's jump a frog so they discard a card. They get rid of an Archon. Good thing we have our Grafdigger's Cage. One frog connects, they draw a card. The potential of the Harvester of Misery still being able to kill our Broodscale is pretty annoying though. No denying that. Just float a mana right here. I still think the best course of action is just trying to go for it and make them use their removal, because we do have Emrakul to clean up in a bit. Make them discard all their cards, make them exile their graveyard. There's a Disruptor Flute. We do have the Boseiju to get rid of that. Also really odd timing for a Disruptor Flute, because this is where we would still be able to find something else off of our Oza Saga. Like we could still grab a Hey, why am I to get rid of that? And they name Blade of the Blood Chief Hello Kitty. Take a seat in your bed. And they also consign our Search Trigger. Okay, they are going all in. So that happens. And this one reaches chapter 2. So I guess we're just playing the Ancient Stirrings, make our opponent think we don't have a way to answer that, and combo next turn. We find a Kozilek's command, that's also pretty nice. And also these, because it means our Emrakul will be protected. I prefer that. I think I prefer the Cavern. Rather Cavern. Could run out a Ballista. We could make a construct right here, but I'll just waste this mana. Waste it. Because we can still use Boseiju end of turn. And if our opponent keeps up everything and we really think they have more interaction, we can still just make a construct. And that's not unlikely. Like, we're going to take a hit by 2 Psychic Frogs in order to try to force through our combo. There's definitely a real possibility of them having more interaction. Headshock in a Watery Grave. Emperor of Bones. Sure. That unfortunately allows them to get that, I think, because they put it into play from exile. That's really annoying. Are we dead? That's just a hasted Archon of Cruelty out of nowhere through our Grafdigger's Cage. That's really rough. Had I played the Ballista, I would have been able to protect myself from this, but I think we're just dead. They can discard all their cards, they can make their frogs flying. We shouldn't survive this. Frogs are flying. They can discard the hand, we're just dead. Those were too many misplays game 1, and game 2, Emperor unfortunately played around Grafdigger's Cage. So, just on to the next match. Next lost die roll. That's unfortunate. This hand does not have any colorless mana and no way of filtering through to our pieces, so we'll mulligan. And this hand at the very least has a Broodscale, so I will keep it. We also do have late game insurance for the very, very late game. Another Rosh's Theater deck. What? Ooh, draw an Urza Saga. That's sweet. Let's run out the Winter Peace, turn to Urza Saga. And another Rosh's Theater deck with Faithless Looting. And they also get rid of 2 Archon of Cruelty. But they also play Spymaster's Vault. Interest. Let's grab the Stomping Ground. My gut feeling tells me that if I run out the Broodscale right here, it dies to an Archon. So I will run out Walking Ballista because they do have Spymaster Vault, so there might just be some small sacrifice shenanigans going on as well. And if we have to sacrifice the Ballista, it's not as bad. They use a Fate Push, so let's just sacrifice it like this. Please no Persist opponent. What is this league? Emperor of Bones as a way of reanimating. So it will also be reanimated with haste, and we don't have interaction for it. Do we just lose? I think we actually do. Let's run out the Grove. Let's not play anything. We have to discard 2 cards. We take a real big hit. I mean, Emperor of Bones is a really good card. There is no denying that. They adapt. We discard a basic forest. At the very least, we do have our Oza Saga to still block something, I guess. Spymaster's Vault, also really sweet. Connive with Emperor of Bones. That's a combo. I'm kind of jealous of what our opponent is playing right here. Let's get rid of the Emrakul, because there's no way we ever get to the point of casting that. And do I risk dying to a Lightning Bolt right here and taking the hit? I don't think I will. I think I'll just jump away with the Emperor. They can connive because our token died. And our combo also makes them connive. And they reanimate the second Archon. That's actually so sweet. Let's get rid of the Chrysalis. I think the problem is we're just 1 mana short of actually going off. Still grab the blade. Moseju. This guy sacrifices at the end of turn. Run out the Broodscale. Play a Rumble. We do have something to sacrifice. And they also have a Flare of Malice to get rid of the Broodscale. They are cooking. They are cooking. Holy shit. That might be the sweetest deck I've seen all year. Just grabbing the Broodscale. Rakdos Sacrifice with Emperor of Bones and Reanimation and what the... This list has got it all. Holy smoke. Mausoleum Secret, so they can insert tutor for the persist. That's also really sweet. Corrupted Conviction, so now they have a way of reanimating. They millisect another Archon, so we are just dead. Or are we? They don't have enough mana to also... Oh, they just have the persist. Okay. What is going on? Okay. So, sideboard against them. Now, they do play cards we can Waxing Bobble. They do play Flare of Malice, but I don't think that's enough of a reason to actually run the Waxing Bobble. So we'll take out 2 Ancient Stirrings. Hugin because it's just so expensive, and a Waxing Bobble, bring in the Grafdigger's Cage even though the Emperor goes around it. But now I've learned those decks play Emperor of Bones, even though it's a different deck than the guy before. Dismember. We need an answer to Emperor, and also the Veil of Summer. So let's take those out, bring those in, and let's run it back. Now let's go first. And this hand looks pretty decent. We can just play the Blade, and we do have Kozilek's Command and Flash Raker. Kozilek's Command also pretty nice because it interacts with their Graveyard Plan and can answer stuff like their Emperor of Bones. Let's just run out the Blade, so it is here, it is annoying, it makes our opponent want to deal with it. And we pass the turn. They mill a Bloodghast. Also a decent card. I think we'll just run out the Flash and hope that it sticks. Because if it does, it will hopefully be pretty annoying for our opponent. That's such a cool combination of cards, like those sacrifice cards together with reanimation package because they do mill themselves. But I guess this deck does have wrong half problems, just like we see right here. They only mill the Bloodghast, there's no big targets milled. They didn't use a Flare so far. Draw another Emerald. That's just bad. Oh, do I offer the Flash Raker to trade and allow them to mill some more? I don't think I will. I think I'll just stay back, keep up the Kozilek's Command, potentially get rid of something from their grave. Hopefully do that and draw. Definitely have to find something right here. Going to Emrakul is just not where you want to be at. They just swing in with the team. I'll just take the hit. Wait till end of turn with the Kozilek's Command because those additional 2 damage, if I would have gotten rid of the Bloodghast right here, don't really matter. And I also want to block the supply because maybe they run Bowmasters. There's the Soul of the Lost. They do mill some more. And it is really big. They mill a Persist. I like to see that. Shock in a Blood Crypt. They do have Revolt right now. They also just push right here. I'll get rid of the Souls. And I will also create Summer Spawns because we have just drawn all the Emrakuls, and our Flash Raker will also create some spawns. It will deal a decent bit of damage. And we can also just equip a spawn to become a threat with our Blade of the Bloodchief right here. Find a Malevolent Rumble, that's pretty sweet. But I think first of all I'll just equip a spawn. Grab a Forest, run out a Rumble, and we find a second Blade. I'll take that. Run out a second Blade, and I think like this will just stay back. We are able to play Emrakul next turn. Maybe we can mess with our opponent, but that deck doesn't really look like a deck that can be messed with that much. There is a Brothouts End is trying to destroy all of our artifacts. That's really annoying, but we don't care too much about those right now, because we do still have our spawns. We are still able to play Emrakul. And taking a hit for 3 right here also doesn't really hurt us too much. Pet, don't be annoying. Stay down. We take the hit. And now it's Emrakul time. So only have to sacrifice 1 spawn, which is pretty crazy. Pass the turn. Pretty much hoping our opponent doesn't top deck a Flare. Let's just cast the looting. Get rid of the actual spells. Play Blood Delta. They brought in Obsidian Charmer. Interesting. We'll actually just grab the Blood Crypt and shock it in, because that way we are able to get rid of the last phase's looting from the graveyard. Extract the Truth. Sacrifice an enchantment. That's an interesting card. Don't think I've ever seen that. Now we'll also flashback the looting just to have the mill. We did get rid of an Archon, so it is somewhat dangerous. But I'm optimistic they won't just top deck the Persist. If they do, that's still okay. We can sacrifice our spawns. Our Emerald still is a threat they have to block. Best case scenario for them, Persist Archon and draw Flare. That would be great. They just draw the Persist. They persist the Emperor of Bones, so they are able to get the Archon back. They already were through 2 persists, so that was an insane top deck. We have to discard one of the Emrakuls. Golly. Now this Emrakul hit is not even lethal anymore. They also revive a Bloodghast with haste. We only draw a Saga. Is attacking too risky right here. They do have another looting in their grave, but I think I have to pressure them. Do I? I don't think I can. I think I just have to stay back with the Emrakul right here. I think attacking is just too risky. They flashback the looting, digging. There's loads of things that are lethal right here. Any removal for spawn actually kills us. Rakdos Charm for 2 damage does the job. Holy smokes. Accept damage. Damn. But I can't be too mad about that. Really unlucky, but can't be. Next match, we don't seem to be able to win any die roll. But to be fair, hand looks decent. Eldrazi Temple, Kozilek's Command, Flashraker, Chrysalis. This just looks like a solid Eldrazi hand, so let's keep it. And our Saga is also able to tutor off our Blade. So there's only 1/2 needed to combo. Opponent leads with an Arid Mesa into Sacred Foundry, so it's probably just energy. There, the Ragavan. It is energy. Lead with the Eldrazi Temple, so next turn we're able to Kozilek's Command the Ragavan. But we do have to take a hit of the Monkey. Own shocks in a Sacred Foundry. We do take the hit, and they get rid of a Cavern. Please don't play main deck Blood Moon and have the one-off right now, opponent. That would absolutely suck, because I didn't grab a basic forest immediately. There's an Ocelot Pride, that's okay. And that's it. Sure thing. I'll play the Saga. I'll bank on them not having main deck Blood Moon. And we'll just keep up the Kozilek's Command right here. One thing you can do with Groves of the Burn Willow is give your opponent life so that their Ocelot Pride triggers without them connecting. You won't do that, but it's a fun thing you can do. So let's make a token, let's get rid of the Ocelot. And I think if our opponent allows us to block, I will, because I played the Saga right now to be able to tutor earlier, but that also means that we're not able to play the Chrysalis next turn, so it probably was wrong to do that. But they'll get rid of the spawn either way. I should have sacrificed, I gave them 2 energy for no reason, other than me being lazy and pressing F6. They exit the Stirrings, that's okay. They actually cast Stirrings. They can only hit land drops off that, right? They grab a Marsh Flats. Land drop secured, but they play an Arena of Glory. Sure. Static Prison for no value is interesting to say the least. Don't quite get it. And they scoop. What? The shame scoop. We win the match. What? Oh no, opponent. Oh no, opponent. Oh. Last match, we actually won a die roll. And this hand looks pretty decent. Let's keep it. Now, winning the last match like that does kind of feel bad when you want to try the deck actually. But I do take it. Like, I am burning loads of play points, playing all the different shenanigans right here. I mean, right now we're playing a good deck, but we're not always playing good decks right here. So, I do take it. And we're playing against another turn 1 Blood Crypt deck. Please don't be another Rakdos Sac Reanimator variant opponent. They get rid of the Malevolent Rumble, so they do have removal. But we just draw another Malevolent Rumble, that's sweet. Let's just lead with that, try to find a land drop. That's the Boseiju, I take it. Yep. Swordseed Bug. Swordseed Bug just happens. Get rid of a card, opponent draws a card. There's another Rosh Cedar. What is going on? What is this league? We're just playing against Rakdos X. Our Boros opponent shame scoops after playing Static Prison for no value. What is going on? We draw an Eldrazi Temple, that's also a really good draw. So let's just lead with the Flashraker and play the Broodscale afterwards. We could have gone and tried to combo immediately, but I do expect them to have interaction right here, not gonna lie. So I don't want to overextend too hard. They are so likely to have a fatal push, so let's just stand back, keep the spawn around, keep the blade unequipped. There's a push. I knew it, but that way around. We do still have the Flash Raker here. And now they will have a hard time dealing with the Flash Raker. Let's loot it. It's another... What? And they concede the game. Okay, so they don't want to show us what they're up to. Okay. I respect it, On to sideboarding. Like, I'm just sitting here expecting them to also play persist shenanigans because we have seen the faces looting. There maybe is a world where they don't, so we'll just do the same thing. Take out Ugin, it's too slow. Take out 2 Ancient Stirrings, we bring in colored cards. Take out a Vexing Bauble, bring in a Grafdigger's Cage, Bale of Summer, and 2 Dismembers because all decks are Emperor of Bones decks today. So let's do it like this and go to game 2. Our game 2 hand is definitely a hand filled with cards, so let's keep it. We do have Urza's Saga, Blade. We're able to just play it and relax behind it. They also play Inquisition of Kozilek. They do run a lot of discard spells, apparently. And they get rid of the first Malevolent Rumble. We top deck a Broodscale. That's absolutely top notch. Just run out the Blade and pass the turn. Is there more discard coming? Opponent. Plays a Bloodstained Mire. Fetches. Grabs a Sacred Foundry. They are Mardu. Wear Tear on Urza's Saga. Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. Won't immediately replay another Saga. Let's just play the Grove. So I would expect them to be this new Mardu Pyromancer variant, let's call it, that I've seen on Twitter a couple of times. Yeah, there's also Godless Shrine. Lage. That's a good card. There's no denying that. We take a big hit. We draw a Kozilek's Command. That's a really good draw. It's just a run out a Rumble. And I'll take a Flash Raker. Thank you. So next turn, if they tap out again, we're just able to kill them. And there is definitely a world where they just fetch and play Flage. But that means they get rid of our spawn token. So we wouldn't be able to kill them. Wear Tear getting rid of both things. Opponent, that's so rude. 2 Wear Tears. That's so rude. We have a Grove of the Bird. We just have to get rid of the Flage in the grave. They grab a Roche's Theater. And get rid of a second Flage. Because of course they get rid of a second Flage. Of course. Now we can't get rid of them. Oh. That's so rough. That's so rough. There comes the Flage. We can't get rid of that. I try to get rid of our spawn, but I think I still have to just get rid of those. And I guess I'll make another spawn again. Here's just hoping we draw my 2 Wear Tears. That's brutal. And milling the 1. Yikers. Yikers. And now we draw Stowguide Lantern. You're just a little too late, buddy. Just a little too late. Let's play the Boseju and let's think about it. What do we do right here? Don't really think we do a whole lot. Anything. We'll just play the Stowguide Lantern. We'll just keep it around to draw a card. Don't have the mana to actually really utilize our Flash Raker right here. They could have played the Flash Raker, played the Lantern afterwards, but then they just kill the Flash Raker with the Flage. Them having the Flage on the board right here is so dangerous. And they get rid of the spawn. Let's sacrifice it to draw a card with our Lantern. That's another Blade. That's actually really good. It means there is a chance Grafdigger's Cage fortunately doesn't do anything. And also, as we learned, they probably are still playing some persist stuff. The card probably is not dead, but I don't really think I would have sideboarded it in against them. It was a good play from our opponent, not showing us what they're up to. Game 1. And just scooping with the looting on this deck. Holagan's Command as well. Yeah, we're just dead. No coming back right here. We'll take out the Grafdigger's Cage. And I think I'm bringing in Ugin, because it looks like they are a little slower. They are not really great at combo deck or anything like this. So having Ugin as a top end that they probably will have a really hard time to deal with sounds pretty good. Go first. And this looks like a keep. Eldrazi Temple into Blade of the Blood Chiefs. There's not too much we can do wrong right here. Next turn we have the Malevolent Rumble. Our opponent probably just has a discard spell again. No, there's a DRC. And we draw Kozilek's Command. That's so sweet. Double Temple Kozilek's Command just goes so hard. Inquisition. You get to surveil opponent, and we get to ruin your day. We surveil, and we scry 2. We get rid of your DRC. Don't really think both of us are always keeping. And we just draw another Ballista. So there. Just get rid of the Rumble, I expect. And we top deck a Broodscale. That's crazy. Don't have enough colored mana to combo. But we are really damn close. So let's just lead with the Ballista. Let's just equip it, because why the hell not? There's a removal. Forgot to ping because I have 6 again. I'm sorry. I don't really think we'll come down to the 1 damage right here. Next turn, we can create infinite mana with our Broodscale. There's a looting. They just get rid of 2 lands. They have another Marsh Flats. I expect them to have an answer to the Blade. Don't really know if they necessarily have an answer to the Broodscale though. Surgical Extraction on our Kozilek's command. I mean, that's a really good card to get rid of, but it doesn't hit us fortunately enough. But also, with us just playing this Naked Bat Ballista, they should have known that we probably don't have one. Let's just try to go for it. Don't really think there's too much to lose right here. Because what else are we gonna play? Looks like they don't have an answer to it. And they scoop it up. Nice. So, deck worked. Kind of okay. Let's head into the Afterthoughts. Afterthoughts! We know them. We love them. What a weird league. Yeah, deck is decent. Obviously. Matches were absolutely weird. Like, our Boros opponent just shame scooped because they misplayed. We played against 3 Rakdos X variant of decks that play Flaces Looting and have some graveyard interaction. 2 of them were actual full-blown Reanimator decks. That's not what you expect to see. That's also where you would like to play the Golgari variant, because it can play Thoughtseize. That's also one of the most notable things that I realized in just a few games that I've played with this variant. The Golgari variant is just better at interacting with your opponent if they are playing real combo decks, because especially against harder combo decks like Neobrand or so on, with the Gruul variant, you just sit there and look at your opponent, and you have to hope that you find your one-off Vexing Bauble early on, and they don't just kill you. Other than that, if your opponent is interacting with you, Chrysalis is an incredible card. And also Ballista is somewhat better with the combo than Sephiroth, because in the combo it is better, but standalone it's just worse. In the combo, Walking Ballista is a payoff that only costs colorless mana that you can just cast after going infinite mana. And you can just play the Walking Ballista, same spiel as with Kozilek's command as a payoff. Ballista also is really good when just equipping a Blade of the Bloodchief to it and having some science lying around, some spawns, because you can just grow the Ballista, sacrifice the things, shoot your opponent. You can also dome your opponent like that. In that way, it is similar to Sephiroth, but standalone, Sephiroth is just way better, because you can just play to draw cards to get actual card advantage. Like the damage with sacrificing your token with a Blade equipped, that's basically the same as just playing Sephiroth and sacrificing your token as is. And you could grow your Sephiroth, and you could maybe even flip your Sephiroth. So the only real differences between the red and the black variant are the chrysalises. Like Working Ballista, 90% of the time does the same thing as Sephiroth. If it's standalone, it's worse. Sometimes in your combo it's better because you don't need the additional black mana to actually combo your opponent. But Chrysalis is just a big thing, because Chrysalis against fair decks is really good. Like this Ugin, you could play Ugin in the Golgari variant, absolutely no problem. And also the mana base is actually slightly better, because Growth of the Burn Willow is better than Painlands. And if you want, you could also run Painlands in conjunction with the Growth. Like there's nothing stopping you to just play full-on 8 Trilands basically, because that's what the Growth is in this deck. That's what Painlands are in this deck. They are Trilands, because colorless is a real color restriction that you have to consider. So this sideboard also, Firesport and Pyroclasm, those are also pretty good cards in certain matchups, like against Energy. Against Energy, Chrysalis is a house. It's annoying for your opponent to deal with. It's a good blocker against flying things when they pump stuff with their Guide of Souls. And you also have better board wipes. So that's also a matchup where this variant might be slightly ahead. But I think it's not only root of cool that I prefer the Golgari variant. I also think there's some reason to it because of discard spells and other sideboard setups. And you not having to play Dismember, that also hurts you as a removal spell, which makes it kind of awkward against things like Energy. Like against Energy, using Dismember to get rid of something is necessary. You have to kill the Guide of Souls, you have to kill the Ragavan, you have to. But taking 4 damage to do so, that's also really rough. So far, I prefer the Golgari variant. I will be playing around with both a little bit more. Maybe we'll have some videos on that as well. But one of the better things is that all the expensive cards are the same. The different, except for Golgari. I bought my stuff for the Golgari variant. Like, I had Sephiroth for Energy, just had to pick up the 4th one because screw you, young dingo. Yes, the 4th Sephiroth actually is worth it in the group Bulgaria and in my book. But like, what's different here? We have the Chrysalis, that's a random common that doesn't cost anything. Pyroclast and Firesport, random commons that don't cost anything. Dismember, okay, Dismember actually costs like $1 or so, but like, I have Dismembers lying around because they are played in so many modern decks. Other than that, Other Saga, same spiel. Eldrazi Temple, also in both decks. Kozilek's Command, also in both decks. Blade of the Blood Chief, that's actually somehow expensive because of this deck and Commander, also in both decks. So, Grove of the Burnwell, I don't think that really costs anything. And the rest is played in both decks. So it's also good to pick up the pool for it. So I'll also play it a bit more in paper. And I'll let you know probably on my Twitter and Broodscale how my testing goes. So don't forget to also follow me on the other socials. There will eventually be streams again when I'm done with all the stressful stuff with the weddings and starting my new job. But there will eventually be streams. And yeah, deck is great. I can only recommend playing Broodscale. It's really fun. And I'm looking into finding the list from that Rakdos Sac Reanimator deck. That will maybe be a list that we'll play in the future. Anyway, have a good day. See you in a bit when I find the time to record more videos. And have a good one.